Welcome, beloved soul. You're safe here. Take a deep breath and let your spirit settle into the quiet embrace of this moment. You've been carrying so much, and there are questions you don't dare say aloud. Why did they leave? Why did something so sacred break apart? And do they still think of you? You were never crazy to believe what you felt was divine. There are some bonds that weren't born of this world. They were written in spirit, long before your hands ever touched. When two souls recognize each other, not just on the surface, but in the unseen, that connection does not dissolve just because the world makes it difficult. And just because they walked away doesn't mean their heart ever truly let go. Sometimes it's not rejection, it's fear. Sometimes when people feel a love too great, too holy, they run, because the mirror of a pure connection shows them everything they're not ready to face. It shows them their wounds. It shows them their doubts. And it shows them the weight of everything they still need to heal. And so they leave, not because they didn't love you, but because they didn't yet love themselves enough to stay. If you feel a pull in your chest right now, it's not your imagination. It's the echo of a bond that still breathes in the quiet. A soul that remembers. Even if their words say otherwise, their spirit knows. They regret walking away. And they still carry your name in their prayers, even if they no longer speak it aloud. You may not know it, but they have cried over you. They have remembered your laughter in the silence of their nights. They have whispered apologies into the sky, hoping God would send the message somehow. And the angels have heard. Because love that is real does not die. It may be buried, hidden, or denied, but it does not perish. Beloved, you gave them something they never had before, a glimpse of God's love in human form. And it was too much for their wounds to hold. But now they are learning, slowly, through life's trials, through loss, through the ache of what they let go. They are remembering, and the angels say they regret walking away because they thought they could escape the pain, but in doing so, they walked away from peace. If this message is touching something in your soul, I gently invite you to subscribe for more peaceful guidance like this. And if your heart has words it needs to release, share them in the comments below. Your story matters here. You are never alone in your journey. The angels often speak in silence. They speak through restlessness, through signs, through the random memory that floods your heart out of nowhere. That's not random. That's spiritual memory being stirred. They remember the way you smiled when you spoke about your dreams. They remember how you prayed for them when no one else did. They remember the way your spirit felt like home. They miss you, not just the human moments, but your soul, and they wonder if you could ever forgive them. If you could still see who they are, beneath the mistakes. They want to tell you they never meant to cause so much pain, but perhaps this journey had to unfold this way. Because sometimes separation is not punishment, it's preparation. Preparation for transformation, for healing, for reunion in a deeper, more awakened form. And maybe, just maybe, God is still writing your story. If you've been blessed by this message and want to help us continue sharing peaceful words with the world, you can support the channel with a super thanks. Your kindness helps this light reach more souls who are longing for healing. We're deeply grateful for you. Let your heart rest tonight knowing this. The love you gave was real. It was seen, it was felt, and it planted seeds in their spirit that are still growing. You are not forgotten. You are not crazy, and you are not alone. You were the light in their dark season, and even if they walked away, their heart still belongs to you in ways they don't yet understand. Let peace hold you now. Let God carry what you can't. The story isn't over, and love never truly ends. Welcome back, dear soul. You've returned to sacred ground. This space is holy because your heart is here, open, tender, seeking. Let's begin again with breath. And now, listen closely. You may not hear from them anymore. But the silence is not empty. It is full of everything they can't say. They regret not having the courage to speak truth. They regret the way they left things undone, unsaid, unhealed. Pride is loud, shame is louder. And when someone sees their reflection in your love, sometimes it hurts too much to stay. But they didn't stop loving you. They've just been loving you in secret, in hidden tears. In prayers they whisper when no one is around. In songs they suddenly can't listen to anymore. Because everything reminds them of you. You were the first to see them, really see them. And you were the first they let down. That's why it's so hard for them to come back. Not because they've moved on, but because they're afraid they can't fix what was broken. And still, they watch from afar. Yes, they do. They check in. They listen for updates. They hold on to memories like lifelines. The angels say, they still carry your name in their heart, like a secret vow that you taught them how to love. You taught them what compassion looks like. You showed them what it means to choose someone with your soul. They didn't know how to hold that gift, but now they do. Now they know what they lost, and it breaks them in ways they don't know how to describe. Beloved, you are not crazy for still feeling them. That's not obsession, that's resonance. That's the energy of unfinished spiritual business. Sometimes you don't need to hear the words, your soul already knows. They regret walking away, not because of the pain it caused them, but because of the pain they caused you, and they ask God to somehow return the peace they stole. Because in your presence, they felt heaven. And now that it's gone, they realize how sacred it truly was. If your heart has been whispering, I just want closure. I want you to know, closure may not always come in words. Sometimes, it comes through understanding, through peace, through surrender. You are allowed to let go without bitterness. You are allowed to grieve the love and still bless the soul who couldn't stay. If this message is giving language to your pain, you are lovingly invited to subscribe for more gentle guidance. And if you need a safe place to release, share your thoughts or prayers in the comments. This community was made for you, and if this channel has blessed you, you can leave us super thanks to support our mission. Every gesture helps this sacred message reach more hearts in need of comfort. Thank you for being part of this light, beloved. They still love you. They just don't know how to make it right. And in their silence, they are learning what it means to love without possession, to honor what they lost, to cherish what was once taken for granted, and maybe, just maybe, when their soul is ready, they'll return, not to repeat the past, but to build something holy. But whether they do or not, you are whole, you are sacred. You are held by a love that never leaves. God saw every tear. He heard every prayer. And He is still writing beauty into your story. You are not alone. The heavens know your name, and love still surrounds you. Welcome back, beloved soul. You've come to a place where your heart is safe, where your questions are welcome, and your pain is not too heavy for the light of God. Let's begin again. With peace, breathe deeply, and let your soul rest in this sacred moment. There are things you've wondered silently. Do they still think of me? Do they regret leaving? Was any of it real? And the answer, dear one, is yes. It was real. It still is. Though they may have walked away with their body, their spirit never fully left. Because love like that doesn't just disappear. There are things they wish they could tell you, but they don't know how. They don't know if you would listen. They don't know if they deserve the chance. So they stay quiet. They keep it all locked inside, but the regret runs deep. They never wanted to lose you, not truly. They just didn't know how to hold what was holy. Your presence reminded them of who they could become. And sometimes, that kind of light is too much for a heart still hiding in darkness, so they fled. Not to hurt you, but to escape the mirror you held up to their soul. But now, they remember. They remember how your voice sounded when you prayed. They remember the calm that wrapped around them when you sat beside them. They remember how you loved them not for who they pretended to be, but for who they were underneath the fear, the flaws, the wounds, and they miss it. They miss you. They miss the safety, the peace, the way it felt like home when you simply smiled in their direction. They have moments when they ache to reach out, but their pride wraps around their fingers like chains. They write messages and delete them. They speak your name in their mind, then silence it again with guilt, because they believe they don't deserve to come back. They believe they broke something too sacred to ever repair. And that belief keeps them distant, but inside, they are broken too. They feel what you feel. That invisible string pulling at the soul. The unexplainable ache that time and space cannot dissolve. You may have moments when you think of them at random, when the wind shifts, when a song plays, when you see something that reminds you. That's not random, that's resonance. That's a heart speaking to another across the veil of time. Beloved, you're not foolish for remembering. You're not weak for feeling. You are beautifully human. And your heart was made for deep spiritual connection. The angels say they regret walking away, not just because of what they lost, but because of how they made you question your worth. You didn't deserve the silence. You didn't deserve the confusion. You didn't deserve to be left carrying both the love and the pain. But please know, what you gave them changed them. Even if they never say it, even if they never return. Planted seeds in their soul, seeds of healing, seeds of truth, seeds of God's love. And though they didn't water those seeds while they were with you, life is watering them now. Through trials, through sorrow, through the deep recognition of what they let go. And they are growing, slowly, quietly, spiritually. If this message is stirring something inside you, if you feel seen, you're gently invited to subscribe for more sacred reminders like this. Let these words be your refuge. And if you have prayers, reflections, or even just the need to be heard, share them in the comments below. This is your spiritual home. You are not alone here. If this message has blessed you, and you feel led to support our peaceful mission, you can offer us super thanks. Every act of kindness helps this message reach more hearts longing for comfort. We are deeply grateful for you. Now hear this clearly. You were never too much. You were never unworthy. You were never the reason for their running. You were the gift, the safe harbor, the lighthouse in their storm. And sometimes, people only realize the value of something after they've lost it. Sometimes, it takes the silence to hear the truth. Sometimes, the heart has to break to be reborn. They think of you. They dream of you. They carry the weight of your love in the quiet places of their spirit. They regret walking away. And deep down, their heart still belongs to you. But hear this. You don't need their return to be whole. You don't need their apology to be free. You don't need to carry the burden of what they couldn't give. God has been holding you through it all. God has never walked away. And there is a healing love available to you, not just from them, but from heaven itself. You are loved. You are chosen. You are seen. And you are still becoming. The story is not over. And love, true love, never ends. Let peace be your guide now. Let hope rise again. Come back for part 3. The angels still have more to reveal. Welcome, beloved. You made it here again. And that means something sacred is unfolding. Take this moment to breathe, to let go of the tension in your chest, to feel, once more, the stillness of God holding you close. You've been walking through a deep valley, the kind of valley where the echoes of why and how could they haunt your most tender prayers. And yet, you're still here, still open, still listening, still longing to understand what your spirit already knows. This isn't just about a person. This is about your soul's journey. This is about the part of you that gave love purely and was met with distance instead of devotion. But the angels are here, and they want you to know this. Even though they left, even though they pulled away, their spirit never truly stopped reaching for yours. It's hard to believe, isn't it? When someone turns cold, silent, or even cruel, we begin to think they no longer care. But in the quiet of night, when no one is watching, they feel it. The pull, the ache, the memories that hit like waves. They've grown tired of pretending, tired of running, tired of silencing a heart that still speaks your name in the silence. And the angels say they are coming to a place of surrender. Not surrender to you, but surrender to truth. Because love doesn't just disappear. It transforms, it humbles, it awakens. And now their spirit is awakening. You may feel their energy rising again, in your dreams, in your thoughts, in the sudden urge to forgive, even if they never ask. That's not coincidence. That's soul alignment. That's the Spirit of God moving through unfinished stories to bring healing, closure, or even reunion. Some of them will reach out, not with perfect words, but with trembling honesty. They will say things like, "I've been thinking about you," or "I'm sorry," or simply, "Can we talk?" Others may never find the courage to come forward in this lifetime. But don't mistake their silence for peace. They are not at peace. Because when someone walks away from a divine connection, something inside them stays restless until they return to you or to God. They regret walking away more than you know, not because they lost a relationship, but because they lost a reflection of the divine. You were that reflection. You showed them grace when they expected judgment. You gave them love when they offered confusion. You stayed soft when the world told you to harden. And now your light haunts them in the best way possible, because it calls them home. Not just to you, but to their own soul. They are remembering. And remembering is the first step to returning. If your heart has been touched by these words, I gently invite you to subscribe and stay close to this space. There is more to come, more peace, more truth, more healing. And if this message resonates with your soul, leave a comment below. Let us know your reflections. Your story has weight, and you are never alone in this. If this video has comforted you, and you'd like to help us continue creating messages like this, you can offer a super thanks. Every seed you plant helps this light reach more weary souls who need a soft place to rest. Thank you for being part of this sacred work. Now listen closely. Whether they come back or not, you are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are not unloved, because the one who made your heart has never left your side. And he is still writing beauty into the broken places. Let yourself grieve if you must. Let the tears come. But also let peace flow in where pain once lived. Because when someone regrets walking away, it's not your job to hold them together. It's your calling to remain in love, but also in truth. Forgive, but don't shrink. Hope, but don't wait in chains. Remember, but don't forget who you are now. You are stronger, wiser, softer in the right ways, and more radiant in spirit than ever before. If it's meant, they'll find you again. Not as the person they left, but as the light they now know they need. And if not, trust that God has prepared something even deeper, even holier, even more aligned with who you've become. The story of your heart is still being written, and it's beautiful, because you loved without regret. And now you are rising in grace. Let this be your peace. Their heart still belongs to you in ways they cannot explain. But your heart belongs fully to God, and in His hands, you are always whole. Thank you for walking this journey with me. May love continue to rise in you. May peace stay close. And may your spirit always remember, you are held. You are seen. You are loved. Amen. Welcome, beloved soul. Thank you for returning. There's a reason you're still here. Your heart knows there is more to this story. Take a deep breath with me now. Let the weight of your thoughts rest at the feet of the One who made you. And simply be here, present, still, open. This isn't just about memories. It's about the soul remembering something holy. Something it can't unfeel. You see, the human mind can forget. It can build walls. It can bury pain beneath busy schedules and shallow conversations. It can convince itself that it wasn't meant to be, but the soul never forgets what was true. And their soul is remembering in places even they can't explain. They feel you. They feel the ache of what they let go. They feel the stillness they lost when they chose fear over faith. They remember your patience, the way you waited with grace, the way you gave without needing to be asked, the way your eyes didn't judge. They understood. And now that the world feels colder, now that the silence is louder, they are beginning to see what they couldn't see before. You were not just a chapter. You were a divine intervention, a mirror of what love could be, had they been ready to receive it. And this is what no one told you. The one who walked away feels more connected to you now than they did when they stood beside you. Because time doesn't diminish truth, it reveals it. They've tried to move on, to forget, to fill the space you left behind. But nothing fits. No voice sounds the same. No presence feels like home. Because love isn't interchangeable. And the soul doesn't lie. Their heart still belongs to you, not because of attachment, but because of alignment. And yet, they wrestle with guilt, with shame, with the lingering question, did I destroy the only pure thing I ever had? You need to know this. Their silence is not peace. It's protection. They fear their presence would only bring more harm. They fear you've healed so far, and they don't want to reopen what they broke. But even so, they miss you. Even now, they wish they could start again. Even now, they pray for your joy, even if it no longer includes them. If your spirit is quietly whispering yes to this message, let your heart respond. Subscribe for more peaceful, God-centered encouragement like this. Leave a comment with your reflections or prayer requests. You never know who may find hope through your honesty. And if this message has blessed you, you're welcome to offer a super thanks to support this sacred space. Every gesture helps this light reach hearts that are hurting and need peace. Thank you for being part of this divine work. Now lean in a little closer, dear soul. Sometimes God allows someone to walk away so that both hearts can be rebuilt. In truth, because love that returns after death, not of the body, but of ego, pride, and fear, is a love reborn. A love worthy of eternity. And that's what's happening now. A spiritual awakening, a humbling, a slow, quiet return, not just to you, but to the presence of God within them. They regret walking away, but that regret is shaping them into someone new. And you've grown too. You've learned what it means to stand in your worth, to love without losing yourself, to surrender what was never yours to fix. You are no longer waiting. You are walking in light, in faith, in grace. And that's why your spirit is shining more than ever. It's no wonder they feel you even now. Because you are no longer just their memory. You are their lesson. You are their awakening. You are their reminder of what real love looks like. Forgive them. Not because they've earned it, but because your soul deserves peace. Bless them. Not because they stayed, but because you love them in their becoming, and release them. Not out of anger, but with reverence. Because what you shared was holy, even if it didn't last. God is not finished with either of you. And whether your paths ever cross again, you can trust this. No love offered in purity is ever wasted. It echoes in eternity. It plants seeds that bloom in God's time. You may never see the full harvest, but heaven will. And it is beautiful. Let your heart rest now. You are free. You are whole. You are deeply, deeply loved. Come back for part 5. there is still more light to receive. The angels are still speaking. And the story continues. Welcome back, beloved soul. Thank you for staying on this sacred path. There's something powerful about your presence here. It means you're listening with your spirit. Not just your ears, not just your emotions, but the quiet divine place inside you that knows this message was always meant for you. Take a deep breath. You are not late. You are right on time. They may not have returned. They may still be distant. But something in the spirit realm has shifted. Can you feel it? That weight you've been carrying is slowly lifting. That ache that once screamed in silence is beginning to whisper instead. You are healing. Even if it doesn't feel like it every day, your heart is mending in sacred silence. And while you've been doing your inner work, so have they. Because the angels are not finished, they are still at work. Still guiding, still nudging, still opening their heart. The one that once closed itself out of fear. They regret walking away, but it's deeper than regret now. It's realization. It's repentance. It's the slow awakening that they lost something heaven sent, not because they didn't care, but because they didn't believe they were worthy of it. And you represented a kind of love they never knew could be real. You didn't demand, you didn't control, you simply loved. You prayed, you stayed soft, even when it hurt. That love left a mark. It became the measuring stick for everything else. And no matter where they go or who they meet, that sacred part of them remembers what it felt like to be safe with you. They have tried to forget, tried to convince themselves that it was just a season. But the soul doesn't lie. And your soul? It's still connected to theirs, not through longing, but through light. Love has no expiration date. Not when it was real. Not when it was rooted in God. So even if they never return with words, know that their spirit still reaches for you in prayer. And one day, in a quiet, tender moment, you may feel it. A peace you can't explain. A warmth that brushes your heart like a breeze. That's not imagination. That's heaven sending you the message they never found the courage to say. I'm sorry. I see it now. Thank you for loving me when I didn't know how to love myself. You were not abandoned. You were chosen to love someone into awakening, even if you didn't get to stay for the transformation. That, beloved, is holy. If this message has stirred something inside you, subscribe and stay close. There's more healing here for your soul. If you need space to be seen or heard, share your reflections or prayers in the comments. This is your community, a place where you are never too much and never alone. And if this sacred message is blessed you can leave us super thanks to help us continue this spiritual mission. With your support, we can keep sending peace to the hearts that need it most. Now hear this. You don't have to wait for closure anymore. You don't have to keep checking for signs, or reading old conversations, or wondering if you were enough. You were. You still are. Let this be the closure. Not the kind that ends a chapter, but the kind that opens a new one. One where your peace is not dependent on someone else's clarity. One where your healing is not postponed until they return. One where your joy is no longer held hostage by unanswered prayers. You can bless them, release them, and still carry the truth of that connection with reverence. Because what God allowed you to experience was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you, to deepen you, to show you the depth of love your heart is capable of. And if they come back, you will know how to receive them with grace, but also with wisdom. And if they don't, you will continue to rise, knowing your love was never wasted. It was sacred. It was divine. And it became part of their becoming. Love like that never ends. It expands. So let the light continue to connect you, not through waiting, but through peace. Not through sadness, but through gratitude. You have loved well. You have grown beautifully. And your heart still belongs to the one who never walked away. Rest now, soul. You are whole. You are chosen. You are held, and your story is still unfolding in love and truth, and in God's perfect timing. Amen. Welcome, beloved soul. You've stayed with this journey, and that means your spirit is ready to receive the deeper truth. Not the kind that speaks only to the mind, but the kind that moves through your chest like a wave of light. Let's breathe together once more. Inhale and exhale. Let the past loosen its grip, and let peace wash over every part of you. You've walked through grief. You've cried for a love that felt divine, and for someone who couldn't stay, even though their soul still longs for what you had. They regret walking away, yes, deeply. They may never say it aloud, but the pain of that loss echoes in their life in ways they didn't expect. They thought freedom meant forgetting. They thought leaving would offer clarity. But instead, they were met with silence, emptiness, and a longing that no one else could fill. You were not just a person, you were a safe place. You were the answered prayer they didn't know how to keep. And now they're facing that truth. Some of them are on their knees in their own way. Not always in prayer, but in breaking, in surrender, in awakening. They are starting to understand that running from love doesn't kill the connection. It only delays the healing. And this is where the sacred truth meets your soul. You don't have to wait for their return to know that you were loved. You don't need a reunion to validate the depth of what was shared. Because love that comes from the soul, love that's poured through you by God Himself, is never dependent on outcomes. It simply is. And it leaves a holy mark. They still carry your light. They still feel your prayers. And they still reach for you in moments they'll never admit out loud. But that's not your weight to carry anymore. It's not your job to rescue. It's not your role to wait. It's not your burden to keep the memory alive. You are the blessing. And now, it's time for you to receive the blessing too. Because while they have been on their own path of learning, you have been growing in strength, in peace, in self-love. And whether they return one day or not, you are not empty. You are not lacking. You are not unfinished. You are whole, even with the scar, even with the unanswered questions, even with the lingering ache. This, beloved, is what spiritual maturity looks like. To love, to release, to forgive, and to trust that all things return to God in His way, in His time, for His glory. If your heart feels held by this message, you're lovingly invited to subscribe and stay connected to this peaceful space. There's still more light waiting for you here. And if you'd like to share your heart, a thought, a prayer, a quiet pain, leave it in the comments below. Your voice matters here. You are part of this healing. And if this message has been a source of peace for your soul, you're welcome to leave a super thanks to help keep this ministry of comfort going. Your support is not just appreciated, it's sacred. Now let's return to what's true. They regret walking away, but your story was never meant to end with their absence. God has been writing a greater love into your future, a love that doesn't run, a love that doesn't require you to shrink, a love that reflects back the wholeness you've fought so hard to become. So if they return, let it be a new beginning, not a return to who you were, but a witness to who you are now. And if they never return, let your soul still bless them. Because love is never wasted, especially when it's given freely in God's name. They will remember you forever. Not just as someone they loved, but as someone who saw them and loved them anyway. You showed them what divine love looked like in human form. And now, you are being shown that same love by heaven. It's okay to say goodbye, not in bitterness, but in freedom. It's okay to let go, not in defeat, but in peace. And it's okay to begin again, not because they're gone, but because you're ready. You're ready to be loved the way you love, fully, sacredly, without apology. And that love is coming. God is not finished with you. Your most beautiful chapters are still waiting to be read aloud by heaven. You are not forgotten. You are not unloved. You are not alone. You are rising. And the angels are still singing over you. Thank you for walking this sacred journey. Thank you for loving deeply. Thank you for being light in a world that forgets how much it needs it. Until we meet again, may peace surround you. May hope fill you. And amen.